G'day folks, talk to Roman Abassi. Solid yarn on how he empowers refugees and migrants through sport, advocacy and community engagement. Down in Western Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Solid work. And man, he's gone through it, leaving Afghanistan in 2021, being threatened under pretty dire circumstances, under a pretty full-on regime. And he represented Afghanistan in Taekwondo. Bloke doesn't muck around, but saw the writing on the wall where him and a lot of others were trying to flee the country, and he got out of there. But hearing that story from growing up in Afghanistan and what that looked like, learning Taekwondo, harnessing that discipline, how that put him on the trajectory to help others. But obviously some people over there didn't like that. So it's solid to see what he's doing here, of what he's learnt and how it's helping others in his community, and how it makes them better, how it makes you better. Sport, fitness, discipline. Solid work. And he's done a lot of this within a short time frame. And if you like the podcast, hit that subscribe or follow button. And we've also got a Patreon page. The link is within the description. So if you want to roll with the squad and become a patron, that'd be great. I want to thank our sponsors, Culture Connects, a disability service provider, registered in all states and territories under the NDIS, the National Disability Insurance Scheme, predominantly operating up the east coast of Australia with its main workforce of disability support workers, registered nursing, support coordination from levels 1, 2 and 3, psychological recovery coaching, clinical support, specialist disability accommodation, the bricks and mortar, supported independent living, 24-hour care, and that's whether it's high intense complex physical disabilities or intellectual cognitive psychosocial disabilities. Or if it's an ILO situation, independent living options, bit of a hybrid situation, they're here to help. And we're here to help. I'm also a part owner and co-founder of Culture Connects. And also want to thank our sponsors, Permoville Australia, the greatest electric wheelchairs in the land. Wouldn't be sitting in anything else but these 4 wheels right here, and they've got great assistive tech also. So righto, let's get into it. Mr. Roman Abassi, thanks brother for jumping on board and getting ready to have a chat with me on the podcast, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Jake. Thanks for your time and this opportunity. I really appreciate that.
Totally fine. So, mate, before we get into the important work that you're doing today when it's empowering refugees and migrants in Australia and in around Sydney, New South Wales and the surrounds. So, mate, let's kick it off with where it all started with your journey with your mob over in Afghanistan and where you were born over there and just what life is like. So just tell us where it all started over in the Middle East.
I was born in Afghanistan in 1992 in Kabul, and it was just, I'm now 32 years old, and in Afghanistan, I just start the Taekwondo there. I start my community work there. I start my education, all my works. It was in Afghanistan. I just came recently to Australia about 2 years and a few months ago. And I was member of Afghanistan national Taekwondo team for over 15 years. I have 6 international medals in Taekwondo. I represent Afghanistan 2 times in a world championship. I'm a bronze Asian medalist in Taekwondo. On the meantime, I was a human rights defender. I had a non-for-profit organization in Afghanistan when we support disadvantaged communities in Afghanistan. And also, I was the sport ambassador of Afghanistan Air Force.
Afghanistan Air Force.
Yeah, yeah, I was the
Right.
sport ambassador.
So what was it like growing up? Like you're born in Kabul, so that's, a major city in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So what was it like when you were young, like growing up there? Because I always get intrigued with, because obviously some of the people that were in power and who was in, when you were growing up in Afghanistan, who was running the country back then?
When I was born on that time, the Afghanistan war started on 1992. I remember my mom told me that it was very difficult to find a place like a hospital because everything was closed on that night, and everywhere was explosion, and everywhere was a smoke, fire, gunshot, and I was born on one of those nights in 1992. It is the year of war start in Afghanistan, and finally they find
In
some
92.
92.
So what war was that started in 92?
It was some groups of uh, military groups in Afghanistan. They fight with each other for the power, and
Like a
uh,
civil war, like
yeah, it
against
was
each other.
civil war.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the 4 years civil wars in Afghanistan. But when I was like 5 years old, the first time Taliban took over Afghanistan after 4 years of civil war, the Taliban take over Afghanistan on 1996. And I was born in a war. I grew up in a war. My childhood was also in a war. And on the first time when the Taliban took over Afghanistan, I was just 4 or 5 years old, and I was one, and they were in the power for over 5 years. And
And were you able to go to school? Like when
yeah,
this was going on? Because when you look at a lot of,
yeah,
so you're going to school when there's a war on too. So
yeah. On the first time when I started the school, I was 6 years old, and it was the first year the Taliban took over Afghanistan. And after that, for the next 5 years as well, I went to the school. But I remember on that time the school was completely different from after the Taliban, because on that time we just read the religious books. We are not allowed to read like the physics, math, or geography and history and any other books, because according to the Taliban belief on that time, it's against Islam. It's not proper to read those books. For that, we are just focusing on religious books.
no maths, no nothing.
No, no, it was not. Even now that the Taliban took over Afghanistan, they're just focusing on religious books. There is no any other, maybe modern, like there's no modern curriculum. It's just very old, and just you're focusing on religious books.
But even people that are with the Taliban, don't they see the logic on how education can like help their people?
I think it's very difficult to speak with Taliban about the logic, because they already completely banned the school for women and girls.
Mm.
And it's against logic, it's against humanity, it's against everything. This is just simply that it's not necessary for women and girls to go to the school or education, because they don't need that. And with this kind of logic, we face in Afghanistan with Taliban.
And like, what's the general like when you're growing up, like with a lot of kids over in Afghanistan? What like when you're growing up, like what do you want to be? Like when you grow up, some people go, "Oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be, you know, I want to be a carpenter. I want to be a plumber. I want to be a teacher." Like,
Yeah,
what did most kids aspire to be growing up in an environment like that? And then
yeah.
you've got some of the, and it's mainly the boys because, like a lot of the women and girls aren't, their future's totally different.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it depends on what you're reading, in which community you're, in which school you're, in which like society you're. On that time, we're focusing too much on religious books, and our teachers was also religious people on that time, and they taught us that. My opinion on that time that I will be a religious leader on that time because I thought the only thing that I can do on that time being a very good religious leader, and I'm happy that I'm not anymore the religious leader. But
Mm.
they teach us like this. That we read the books, and it was about the religion and the whole environment. Everything was about the religion on that time.
What happens if you're at school when you're little and you question it? Like, do you get in trouble off the teachers? Like,
Yeah.
because if you question, like, if you want to, like, if you go up to the teacher and go, I want to learn maths or English, is that big trouble?
We don't know on that time what's math, what's English.
Oh, you don't even
Yeah,
know.
because if we don't know, I should ask our
That's
discipline
true.
teacher. And later they bring some something like they bring math, but they were against physics. They was against chemistry. They was against many other things. But it was too difficult on that time to ask the teacher. But in Australia, it's very common. You can ask question from teacher if you're a kid. But in Afghanistan, it's not normal. They will hate you very badly, and they will torture you a lot, and it's not there's no law for the kids for the human, and it's not possible to ask questions too much.
Yeah, okay. And you have siblings over there? You had
uh,
brothers and sisters growing up
yeah,
over in Afghanistan?
yeah, I have three brother and three sister, and we are a big
Nice.
family.
Big fan. Are they all over here or are they still back home?
No, no one is in Afghanistan. Most of them they are here in Australia, and my big brother is in USA, but I don't have any family in Afghanistan because when I came to Australia, I bring like most of them to my three brother and also two brother and three sisters with me in here with their families, and my mom and dad they also came here, they're with me.
Nice. So it seems like growing up too, like you've channeled a lot of your energy through sport with Taekwondo. So what age did you start Taekwondo in Afghanistan?
Yeah, I started on 2004, and the first time I want to become a boxer because I follow Muhammad Ali. He was very famous in Afghanistan on that time, but later I changed my mind because I saw many Jackie Chan movies, and I thought maybe he's a taekwondo player. Later, I realized he was not a taekwondo player as well. For that, I joined the taekwondo club in Afghanistan, and it was just a local club, and it was in 2005. And my taekwondo journey started from there.
Right. And is that where you channeled a lot of your energy? And also what so if you wanted to do competition, was a lot of the competition with Taekwondo when you were young just in Afghanistan, or would you travel to Pakistan or other neighboring countries to compete against other nations as well?
When you start the taekwondo, it's very normal. You're getting some belt as well until black belt, and it takes for me 5 years. And in 2009, I got the member of Afghanistan junior team, and I start my overseas competition, international competitions. On that time, I attended international competitions, and until 2018, 19. I went to like more than 35 international competitions.
Wow,
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
No, thank you. It was not just in Pakistan, or maybe we because we were in the national team. We attend all the international competitions from like from Russia, from like Jordan, from South Korea, many countries. I went for the competition.
Yep, and talk to us about so you're going through your journey of Taekwondo, and did you with school because over here we've got kindergarten. You know, you get to year six. From year six, you go to year seven. Year seven's high school. From year
Yeah.
7 to 12. So where does high school stop when you're growing up? Like, what age are you when high school's finished?
Yeah, my high school finished on 2007, and after that, I we had the exam in Afghanistan. Like in Australia, you have exam for the university, and I finished my bachelor of sport in Afghanistan as well. And after that, I attend the law university. I finished the bachelor of law in Afghanistan, and later on, I attend my master
Law?
again. Yeah, yeah.
So you're a lawyer, solicitor over in Afghanistan.
Yeah, in Afghanistan. But later on, I start my master degree in international relationship,
Yep.
and I finished that on 2021 before the Taliban took over Afghanistan.
Okay. Because by that time, is that when the Taliban were gone? When obviously America and other nations were over there? Is that
Yeah,
so? With
yeah,
with the university, did they? So that's what was going on before. There was no university because you were saying it was all religious studies before. So that'd be a bit tricky if you've gone
yeah.
to school and you're learning nothing but religion,
No,
and
no.
then you just
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
It's for make it clear because on 2001 the regime changed in Afghanistan, and the United States with many countries they came to Afghanistan in 2001, and everything was normal, the democracy, the freedom of speech, everything was normal on that time from 2001 until 2021. On 2021 again Taliban came. Before the 2001 there was a Taliban in Afghanistan.
Mm. Yeah. So what was it like with the change, like before 2001? So did was it like when I mean like danger,
Yeah.
like just you able to be a normal person in society in Afghanistan? So what did it feel like before 2001 and then after and 2001 onwards? Like
Yeah,
what did that feel like with the community and the people?
yeah, absolutely. There was a huge changes before the Taliban and after the Taliban, or during the Taliban. Uh, when the Taliban took over Afghanistan first time, I was a child. It was just uh, I was 6, 7 years old, and until 12, 11 years old, the Taliban was there. And after that, everything completely changed. The education system, the government, the people, the media, freedom of speech, everything was there, just except the security situation of the Afghanistan security situation was too bad. And the reason was against the Taliban because they fight against the people of Afghanistan for last 21 years and until they took the power and fall the Kabul. But yeah, it was completely different environment, different people. Even the we have a rights to choose our clothes, and we have a rights to shave our beard, and also uh, we are allowed to watch movie TV. We have on during the Taliban, it's not allowed to have a telephone or having the TV or anything related to electronic things. But after that, everything changed.
Yeah, right. And what was it like? Because you're looking at Kabul like it's a major city hub,
Yeah.
but you've got a lot of like, how does it work with? Is it when it's got to do with the people that live in the community outside of Kabul? Like, is it a lot of? Because I hear and I don't really understand it when it's got to do with tribal elders and what's life like outside of Kabul compared to in the city itself? Because Afghanistan's a big country and there's a lot of people.
Yeah, unfortunately, outside the Kabul, the
Oh, sorry,
situation.
that was my
So,
watch. Go again, Siri. Sorry, mate. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Outside the Kabul, the situation was very bad still during the last 20 years and until now, because the governments of Afghanistan and all the governments before that, they just focus on the cities and don't care about the other areas as well outside of the Kabul. And especially education was very bad on that side. The health system was very bad, and also a group of people. They were like they were a gangster. They live outside of the Kabul, and the situation was very bad, completely different from the city.
Yeah, right. But so what is life like though? Like outside of the city. So when you're looking at how people are, the culture, what's the culture like
Yeah,
from
yeah, the culture is completely different. Like outside of the Kabul, the people that they're living, they have that belief that women's not allowed to work, women's not allowed to wear like they are not allowed to choose any clothes for themselves, and they don't have any rights. And it was completely different from the city. In the city, everything was open for women, for girls, for everyone. But on the outside of the Kabul, it was completely different.
mm. And obviously when the Taliban were in power, there's a lot of, and you're looking at war in general. War is, it's not good for anyone, So, and some of the things that you're exposed to and what you see is, was there a lot of situations or whenever you're in Kabul or outside of Kabul or like you just witnessing things as a young man trying to grow up in Afghanistan? Was there a lot of things that you saw that weren't great, like when you're talking about people getting hurt and just real sort of heinous crimes against
Yeah,
either Taliban against your own people or Taliban against foreigners, like just seeing war and torture
yeah.
and bad things in general? Did you come across a lot of that?
Yeah, absolutely. On that time, the Taliban they have a control of some local areas outside of the cities, outside of the Kabul, and they have their rules there, and they have lots of pressure for those people that they're living inside the Kabul. And we have explosion, at least two, three explosion just in 1 week in Kabul. And when we leave the house, it was very difficult that we don't believe that we were reaching to the office or not, because it was too normal. And even for us, it was normal on that time. Okay, there's explosion, and okay, it's normal. We were safe, and we were familiar with that situation. We grew up with that situation. And if you want to leave the city, we are wearing the traditional clothes, because the we are scared that if we wear like Western clothes, the Taliban will recognize these people like from the city, from the
Yeah,
Kabul.
right.
And for that, we just wear the traditional clothes, and they don't know. And many places outside of the Kabul, the Taliban they have a control there, and they can easily find those people that they're not like from city or from not from their beliefs, and they can easily find them.
And did anything happen to yourself when you were over there, like getting questioned by the Taliban, or you're with friends or family that got hurt, or anything in that process? Like, I don't mean
You're
to open up old scars, but
Yeah,
but if there was anything that you can share with us today.
yeah. You're asking about the after 2021 or before?
No, when the Taliban were in control, like I'm just trying to get a feel for what it was like, and if anything happened to yourself from the Taliban, or what you seen them do to your family or other members
Yeah,
of the community.
yeah. Uh, in my work, like I had a non-for-profit organization in Afghanistan, and we support women, girls, like in the disadvantaged communities, especially Afghanistan national forces that they fight against Taliban, and we support their families financially. For that, I scared a lot, because I received lots of threats during the before the Taliban. They
Like
tried to stop
death
me.
threats?
Yeah. They tried to stop me because of my works, and they said we'll not allow you to support our enemies. And I try a lot to support those that they were against Taliban, their families. And after the Taliban, when they took over Afghanistan, they directly target me, my family, even my relatives, the organization that we had in there, and the workers. And after that, they're looking for me and my family, and we faced lots of trouble when they took over Afghanistan. But before that, because I live in Kabul and they don't have that access on the Kabul, they just try to call me or maybe send some message. It was just, yeah, the situation was like this.
Yeah, it's would have been a roller coaster for yourself and family, and a lot of Afghanistan's living over there, you know?
Yeah,
So, and trying to just balance life, trying to wake up and not hear gunshots or bombs going off from day to day.
yeah,
So, would
yeah.
that feel pretty normal, like waking up to this stuff?
Yeah, it was completely normal because if you face with this type of situation like one, two, three, or four time, you will shock. But for us, we grew up like this, and it was very normal, like a gunshot, like explosion. Each week we have three, four. My mom was call me, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I called my brother. We have like we have a life full of stress, full of like we're scared from explosion, and we don't know what's happening like in the next road. And there was a big explosion, and especially because inside the Kabul there was a lots of embassies, lots of uh, uh, international like groups, the non international organizations. They were in Kabul, and the large number of explosion was inside the Kabul. If you just simply see like what's happening in the last 20 years in Afghanistan, it was like more than thousands of explosion in Kabul, and thousands of people died during that explosion.
And like a lot of close people to yourself, like family members, people getting hurt that you know and loved?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I lost my one of my uncle, and he
Mm.
was in a Afghanistan National Army. Um, he fought like for more than like 10 years against Taliban, and finally they find him and they kill him, and lots of my friends as well, but not, yeah, not my close family, but I lost many people that I knew.
Yeah, it's a lot. And what's life like? Like looking at myself, right? I'm a quadriplegic. I'm in an electric wheelchair. So, and obviously, there's a lot of supports, like you would have heard of the NDIS,
Yeah, yeah,
and which looks after a lot of individuals over here, whether you got a physical disability or an intellectual, cognitive, psychosocial disability. So, what's like life like for people with disabilities over in Afghanistan when you're growing up and
yeah.
trying to just get equipment like wheelchairs, the proper beds that individuals need to make sure that the skin's okay. And, there's all sorts of assistive technology I could talk about, but what's just life in general, life for people with disability in Afghanistan? And is there any support or family has to do everything?
Yeah, yeah. I think you and many people, they're very lucky that you're living in Australia, and you're in Australia, you have everything. But in Afghanistan, there is nothing, and there is just 0% of support. There is nothing for the people with disability in Afghanistan, because we have a large number of people that they lost their body, their life, not the life, just their body during the explosion, war in
Yeah, for
Afghanistan.
amputees and stuff like that, if they
Yeah,
lose limbs and all that, yeah.
yeah, there is no support in Afghanistan. Their family is responsible for them themselves. If they don't have any family themselves, they're responsible for them. And even there's no rights of work, rights of like if you're a person with disability, there is no guarantee that you will find a job in Afghanistan, because they will not hire you. And there's no rights for them. Even there is no rights for people that they don't have any disability, like that's the simple as like the millions of women in Afghanistan. There's no rights for them.
So what happens if something happens to you in the hospital and you've got no family? Then what happens? What do they do with you?
Yeah, you're homeless on that time. They will not support you if you don't have
Will they
money.
put you out on the street?
Yeah, you're there. Even if you can just maybe in the future just check some of the videos, there's like more than hundreds of people they're in the street with disability, because there is no support there, and they're not uh, they can like work for that. There's no option for them. They're just staying in in the street, and they're homeless.
Yeah, it's interesting that you see how each country works, and
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
it's sad that there isn't the support
No, no.
over there for people with disability, but people as a whole, when you're talking about women, children, and
Yeah,
other vulnerable people in the community.
yeah. Hopefully, Jack, you're a leader. You're like a role model for many people, and also, better about the situation of people in Afghanistan, especially with disability. Hopefully, you have any plan maybe in the future if you want to support them, or uh, I'm happy to work on that area as well, that we can support the people of Afghanistan with disability. I'm
Oh,
sure
for
they need
sure.
support, especially the wheelchair or many other things. I think we need to work on that maybe in the future.
Oh, mate, there's ways and means to do things, and I'd be more than happy and it'd be an honor if I'd be able to help in some way, in some fashion,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's, people, even those NDIS over here, people still struggle with certain things.
yeah,
So even though that's, you got millions of dollars that are going around the country to help people, people are still
yeah,
struggling. Like, and we're lucky. Like, I know I'm on the NDIS. I'm an NDIS participant myself, and I feel very, very fortunate to have the supports that I do, and
yeah,
I'm able to have a support team and people help me get in and out of bed each day, able to have a shower, able to get up, able to go to work every day. Even at my capacity as a C5, C6 incomplete quadriplegic, able to, I own and run a business with my wife, and we look after a lot of people that are in my position with
oh,
disability.
that's great.
You,
Yeah,
so people can get up and have a go every day.
yeah,
So
yeah,
no matter what their capacity is, whether it's a physical disability like mine, or if they got autism, or
yeah,
like
yeah,
invisible disabilities, schizophrenia, psychosocial, cognitive, intellectual disabilities, everybody has a right to be supported. And that
yeah,
doesn't matter if it's here in Australia, or, it's in the community in Kabul, or out
yeah, yeah,
in the community anywhere in regards to the Middle
yeah,
East, and just trying to change people's view and getting people to understand that
yeah,
it's important that everybody should be looked after. And,
yeah,
and it's not going to happen tomorrow or the next day, but it's like continuous, and you need to work and get a lot of people to understand, and then they can be advocates, go out in their community and help others,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
Thank you very
it's
much,
all,
Jake, for sharing this. You're a leader. You're a role model for many people. I'm sure you can motivate many peoples. But
yep.
just want to share with you that I had as I mentioned before, I had a non-for-profit organization in Afghanistan. There was a program by name of Hope Wheels, and
Ah,
we donate wheelchair for the people with disability, and we donate like at least maybe 25, 26, or maybe 30 wheelchairs because it's very expensive in Afghanistan, and we give
I,
that especially for the kids that they face the situation by the war in Afghanistan, and they want to go to the school and they can't attend the school. We donate one wheelchair for them, and it was very very good program that we ran there in Afghanistan. And I have all the videos as well. That it was the first time that they saw the wheelchair, and this was the first time that they used the wheelchair, and it was one of the best programs that we ran in Afghanistan on that time. And the name was it was a Hope Wheels. It was too good, yeah,
Hot Wheels.
yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. And any of those links that you've got, send them through,
yeah,
because, I'd love to share them with people. And I think that's important that,
yeah,
people get to see what's going on in other parts of the world. So
yeah,
what's it like there too? Like when you're over there, if you're trying to look outside of Afghanistan, like to see what other countries are doing when it's got to do with the, you're looking at the internet, YouTube, the amount of information that's out there. Like, did you have access to a lot of this so you could see what life is like outside of living in Kabul?
yeah. We have some of them. Like we have internet in Kabul. We have access on YouTube and many things. But the life was completely different when we came to Australia. especially the education system, the healthcare system, how they run the government, how the community services works. It was completely different from Afghanistan, and how people behave you in here, like it was a completely different. But because in Afghanistan we are behaving very rude and very like angry with people, and in here it's very friendly. They're just they have a laugh every time with people, and they have a very good smile as well. But yeah, it was completely different. As I mentioned before, the health system in Afghanistan is completely worse, and there is no system there. It's just a few people that they're treating people, and they're not like, even they're not the professional doctors as well. And the education system is, as I mentioned before, now the Taliban is the teacher in Afghanistan in each of schools, and now they want to teach the kids how to become a good Taliban in Afghanistan. Like now the uh, Taliban, being a Taliban is like a model in Afghanistan, and it's a role model for many kids. And if you ask the kids, what do you want to become in the future? They say, I want to become a very uh, good Talib in the future, or maybe a commander of Taliban. But because they teach the
They're
kids
just
like,
brainwashed.
yes, brain,
Brainwashed, brother.
yeah. But those kids, they don't know because what's Taliban? They're just an international terrorist group, and they're
Well, if they
against.
don't know it, they don't know any different. If they just get
Yeah,
told that, they don't know any better.
yeah. For that, they brainwash the kids, and they said we are the people who fight against USA and many countries, and now we are in the power, and they escaped from Afghanistan. We are a hero, and for that, yeah, it's very difficult because they bring politics in each side of people's life, from education, from personal life. Even they recently announced that the women, they are not allowed to talk with each other louder, like they can talk very slowly with each other because it's against their belief, against Islam. And I'm Muslim as well, and I'm not sure in which page of Islam they said like this. If Islam says like this, I will not accept Islam because it's against humanity. I will
Mm.
not any religion that they were against immunity, like you're not allowed to go to the education because you're a woman. If Islam says this, I will not accept Islam because education is for everyone, for all human. It doesn't matter which religion is, which culture, or which like background. It's need for a human.
100%.
Yeah.
Spot on, Very, very tricky. So what? So you're growing up. You've gone to university. You're doing the law in Kabul.
Yeah.
So when did it come to the point where you're looking at the broader landscape of what's going on, or really what's not going on in Afghanistan, and when you've made the decision of when you wanted to leave? Like, how old were you when you're like, I've got to get out of here. I want to be in another environment that's not like here, and I want my family to come with me. So,
Yeah.
how did all that process come about?
Yeah. Actually, it was not a plan. Um, we were forced to flee Afghanistan. As I mentioned, in 2021, on 15th of August, the Taliban took over Afghanistan.
So,
And
is that when you left? When that
yeah,
happened? Yeah.
I was in Afghanistan. Normally, I have a life, I have a job, I have a non-for-profit organization there, and I was an athlete there, I was a coach there, and we have a happy life. And on 10th of July, it was my marriage day, and I married on that on 10th of July. And after like 25 days of after that, the Taliban took over Afghanistan, and
In 25 days.
and no one knows
Mm.
about that. Even we 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 realized that the war starts in Afghanistan, but no one knows that the Taliban they came to Kabul just in one night, and everyone leave Afghanistan. And I'm sure you saw some movies that what's happening during the
Oh, it's
evacuation.
crazy. People
Yeah,
jumping on the plane, on the
yeah,
outside of the planes.
yeah. I was on the same place. I was outside of the airport on that day, and because millions of people they were inside the airport. If he came again
And what
from the
was it like for everyone? Everybody, you see him screaming, running, like,
yeah, yeah,
you,
because the
yeah.
tourist group they controlled Afghanistan, they took control of Kabul. Everyone was scared, and on the exact day on the 15th of August, I went to the job. It was a very normal day for Afghan people for Afghanistan, especially in Kabul. I just want to go to there was a camera studio. I want to talk my marriage videos. And when I get that, and when I came out from the shop, I saw everyone is running everywhere, and they said the Taliban is inside the Kabul. And I received many calls from my wife, from my mom, my dad that come soon, that the Taliban is now in the Kabul. It was a very bad traffic as well on that day, and it takes 4 hours for me. It was just 15 or 20 minutes away from. I was away from the house. It takes 4 hours to come back to the house, and we
And where were
came.
they all driving? If they're in their cars, were they trying to drive to drive out of Kabul and drive out of Afghanistan and leave the country? What were people doing?
All the people, because everyone was shocked, there was no option on that day, and everyone they want to try to reach out to their houses because it's safe place for them. And after that, we the there was a news that the Afghanistan president he flee Afghanistan as well. That shocked everyone, and later on they said that there was a evacuation start in Kabul airport. The U.S. They want to evacuate people from Afghanistan. On that time, millions of people they went to the Kabul airport. They try to leave Afghanistan because they don't want to leave that the Taliban under the Taliban rules under the Taliban regime. And it was very very bad day for Afghanistan people. Everyone was cried on that night. Millions of people cried on that night, and that evacuation just it was just for 10 days. They just evacuate like thousands of people, and the millions of people they just leave alone in the Taliban regime. And later on I was one of them as well because it was too difficult to reach out to the airplane and leave Afghanistan. I just prefer to stay in my home with my family. And later on I contact the IOC, International Olympic Committee, and also Australian Olympic Committee, and explained my situation. And they said we're working on that. We're trying to evacuate you and your family soon from Afghanistan. And I was just waiting for the IOC and AOC, and later it takes for me 3 months. I was
Ah,
just
so it was the Olympic Committee that was helping you get out of Afghanistan.
yeah, yeah, International Olympic Committee
Yeah,
by
right.
by help of Austrian Olympic Committee. And I was in Afghanistan for 3 months under the Taliban as well because they're looking for me, and I just changed my house. I stay with my like relative house, and they just took one time my father as well, and they said, okay, my son is not in Afghanistan, and they released my
God, they're trying to track you down and get you.
yeah, 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 because I just deactivate my social media, my phone number, everything, and they thought maybe he's also leave Afghanistan with thousands of people there during the evacuation. And I was in Afghanistan on that time, and I received an email from Austrian Olympic Committee. They said that we're ready to relocate you from Afghanistan to Pakistan at first, and you will stay in Pakistan for a few months, and after that we'll bring you in Australia. And we separate our family because we're a big family in 4 or 3 flights, or from border and from everywhere. We just leave Afghanistan very differently because my face was completely different when I leave Afghanistan. I have a long beard, and also I wear traditional Afghan clothes with a Afghan hat because I scared if they know me, if they will catch me. For that, I leave Afghanistan,
So
and we
if they
stay.
got you, if they found you, what would have they done to you? What would they
Yeah,
do?
they will kill me very easily.
Kill you?
Yeah, yeah, there's no any other short option. They will not keep us like in a prison for. Uh, if maybe the first option is they will kill me. The second option is maybe they will keep me in the prison for more than 10 years. there's no any other option. Uh, and yeah, and finally, after like few months waiting in Pakistan, we received our visas for Australia, and we came to Australia on the late of 2022.
So, so how long did it take? So from you've left Afghanistan, and whereabouts in Pakistan were you staying?
It was in Islamabad, the capital of
Islamabad, the
Pakistan.
capital.
Yes.
Yeah, capital. Sorry.
I was there just for 3 months or 4 months. Yeah, I was there for 4 months, and I was the lucky person that I get the Australian visa and also my family in a 4 month. But I heard that some people they're waiting there for more than 10 years because of the high risk. The
10 years that Afghanis waiting in Islamabad for 10 years to try and leave.
Yeah, more than 10 years. Even my friends is waiting in India for many years for Australian visa because it's very difficult to get the Australian visa and live here. And we was very lucky people, and also my family was so lucky, and we get the visa, and we are living in Australia with my family.
That's great. That's great. And what made you choose Australia out of any other country?
Again, it was not our choice to leave Afghanistan. For that, we don't have any option. I just reach out to the International Olympic Committee, and the International Olympic Committee, I think they reach out to many national Olympic committees, and the Australian
Ah, I
Olympic
see.
Committee they accept this that we will evacuate them and many other athletes as well from Afghanistan to Australia. But there was no option for it. The only option for us was survive. How can we leave Afghanistan, even in Pakistan? But it was too difficult to leave Afghanistan.
And when you left Islamabad, so where did you come? Did you have to go to Manus Island? Did you have to go anywhere or straight to Australia? Like, what's the whole process of leaving Pakistan to coming here? Like, what was that travel like, and how did that
Yeah,
all work out with the processing of everything?
yeah. On that time, the situation was a little bit good for Afghan refugees to live in Islamabad. Now it's very bad as well. They deport lots of Afghans back to Afghanistan. The
From
Islam,
here?
no, no, from Pakistan.
Oh,
Yeah, because they have a issue with Taliban. For that, they deport people from Pakistan to Afghanistan. But on that time, the situation was too good, and I just stay because I had a lot of stress in Afghanistan. I just stay in Pakistan, and I was there for 3 months, and we were just waiting normal for the visa process, and we just stay some time with family and walk around and see Islamabad as well. It's very normal life in there. Finally, we get the visa.
yeah, okay, that's great. And when you were in Pakistan, could you speak any of the language over there, or
Yeah,
you'd have
I can speak five language.
what? How
And
many language? What languages can you speak? You speak English very well.
no, no. I think the last one that I learned it was English. Before that, I speak four language as well. There was a Hindi language that they spoke in India as well, and Pashto, Persian, and Urdu language as well. It's completely the two different languages in India, and also English. It's five language.
Nice. You don't muck around.
But I can read and write Arabic as well. Just I can communicate in Arabic language, but I can
You,
read and write.
you can't really speak the language, but you can
Yeah,
read and write Arabic.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because in Australia there's a lot of people that speak Arabic over here. So, but Australia is very multicultural. So,
Yeah.
did you come straight to Australia, or did you have to stop over on any islands or anything like that
Mm.
to be processed, or how did all that work?
No, no, we just came when we get the humanitarian visa. We just came straight from Pakistan to Australia, even in Sydney. It was just the flight was like this. We just went to the Qatar, and we were there just for a few hours, and we just came to the Sydney. There was no any other place.
Yeah. And when you come to Sydney, so who come with you? It just your your wife and so
Yeah,
did you
my
have
wife.
any did you have children over
No,
there? Okay,
no,
not
no.
yet. Okay.
Now I have a child. I have a baby. It's almost 10 months. But on that time, no, just it was just me, my wife, my two sisters, my one brother, my mom and dad. They came with me on that time. But later I applied for my siblings as well, and they get their visa as well. Now they're here as well.
Nice and safe. That's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
So what was it when you landed in Sydney, down in Mascot, in Botany, where the airport is? So once you got here, so where did you go? Like, because obviously you need shelter, you know, accommodation, food. Like, so what was that process like when once you and who greeted you? Like once you got off the plane, who was there from
Yeah,
Australia to help you and your family?
yeah. I think there's two answers I will give you. At first, when I came to Sydney on the airport, those people who support me to evacuate from Afghanistan, they came there. They were Australian, and I meet them, and they were very good people. They were very supportive people, and they were there. And it's just the one answer. And the second answer about there is a process. If you come with the humanitarian visa in Australia, there's an organization that they can support you from the day that you enter to Australia or in the airport. They will they will take you until you find a job, find the like accommodation and this payments from Centrelink and everything. But the organization's name is SSI. It is, I think, settlement, international settlement, something like this. They support the refugees and new arrivals. When they came, they will give the accommodation for sometimes, and also they manage all the uh, uh, cards that they need, like the Medicare, they will apply for you, the bank account, they will apply, and also they will apply for you to find the accommodations, and your pay will be from Centrelink, and you normally receive your payment. And also they will support you to find a job, and it's very supportive. It's a very good organization. There's a lot of settlement organizations that they are supporting new arrivals and refugees when they want to come to Australia.
And what was your feeling for like you and your family when you first got to Australia? And because it would have been a bit of a culture shock as well.
Oh, yeah, but not that much. The one thing that uh, I travel many countries for my competition for international
No,
for my championships,
yeah,
but I
taekwondo,
find,
yeah.
yeah, I find Australia completely different. I'm not feeling that I'm, yeah, just maybe 50% or 20% that I'm away from Afghanistan. I feel home here a lot because we live in Maryland. I'm not sure that you visit the Marylands as well.
I grew up in Guildford.
Oh, that's great. That you know that we call
Oh
now
no,
Maryland a
Maryland's.
little cobble. It's a
Yeah.
little cobble now. It's completely changed because all the
Where
rest,
Maryland's?
yeah, all the
Did you say
restaurants,
did you say little couple?
yeah, yeah, and
Oh,
there's a reason. Because like 90% of the shops, the restaurants in Maryland's, like the market is now the Afghanistani restaurants, Afghan shops, and also the surround people, like maybe more than 60% or maybe 50% of Afghans, they're living in Maryland's and Guilford, and they completely changed the the place like Afghani design. For that, we were very comfortable, we were very happy. But the day that I came to Australia, because on that time we don't know what's Maryland, what's like Guildford, and we don't know where the Afghan communities live. We were in Campbelltown, and
yep,
there was
out
no
west.
refugees, no people there, and we were in a it was in a restaurant, big restaurant, and I was there, and it was. Uh, I shocked on that time because it was completely different. No one was there. I thought maybe Australia is like this. There's just some few houses, and no one's here. There's no shop, there's no like market. I thought maybe it's very difficult to live here, but later on when we find that no, it's in Maryland, it's a Guilford, the Auburn, these communities, Blacktown, most of the Afghan communities, they're living there, and we find many friends there. Many We have now a good family friends, and we're enjoying life in Australia. But when I came to Australia the first time, it was no one believed in our family that we were here in Sydney, in Australia. It's just a dream for us. Because when I grew up in Afghanistan, I was like in 2 years and 14 years old or 15 years old until we leave Afghanistan. There was a promotion in Afghanistan TVs, and they said that don't come by boat to Australia. Australia will be never your country. Australia, you will not get the citizen of Australia. We heard of this, and we grew up.
Where's this from? Who's saying this?
It was because on that time I think many people they come by boat to Australia,
Yeah.
but the Australian government they have some things it was something like they play on the TVs and local TVs that they prevent people to come by boat to Australia, especially.
Because when you would have come in, that's when Liberals were in.
Yeah, I'm not
So
sure about that.
yeah, and how did it feel though from the political side? Because once you're just trying to be safe and make sure that your family's okay, you're looking for housing, jobs, all this sort of stuff. So did you have any backlash from? Was there community members? Because there's a lot of people. It doesn't matter what country, but there's a lot of assholes out there as well that can be racist, can be all this sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
did you see much of that when you come to the community and you're trying to get a job and you're trying to acclimate within the Australian society? Because there's a lot of people that look, and you can't blame people for wanting to leave all these countries when all this bad stuff happened. I'd want to leave too. I'd want to get out of there and go to a safe country and make sure that my family's safe as well. So, and look, Australia's a massive country, big continent. There's a room for a lot of people over here, and the majority of people are very accommodating and
Yeah.
want to see people thrive and survive,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely.
did you come up against a lot of barriers with
Oh,
people?
yeah. I was so lucky because I didn't saw this type of behaviors. I never faced with racism, and I heard a lot about that, but I'm not sure what's happening with me because of my behavior, because of my background, because of what. But I never faced with this type of uh, uh, issues in Australia, because my first job when I was a sport coordinator at Western Sydney, and my friends they were
That was
all.
your first job over here, sports coordinator.
Yeah, it was a sport
That's
coordinator.
awesome.
Yeah, I coordinate just a sport and recreation activities for everyone in Western Sydney. We organize like more than 80 programs per term, and I just organize all the programs. But my colleagues on that time they were Australian. They were born here, and uh, I never faced with racism. They were very supportive. They were very good people. They were still my friends that I'm in the next and the other roles, other organizations I'm working. But we were friends with each other.
So once you got here, and that's good to hear because you see a lot of people that are standoffish or they're not educated or they don't understand. So ignorance is bliss because people don't understand what people are going through, and they'll just throw it to the side, or people have got tunnel vision and they won't listen to any other opinion but their own.
Yeah,
They're stuck in these echo chambers, and then it's hard to get people to believe or understand or be educated in a certain way to look at, no, this is what life is like, and at the end of the day we're helping people. Doesn't matter what part of the world you're from. Doesn't matter what culture you're from. Like me, I've like copped a lot of racism in my life. Like if you look at me and my skin, like I'm fair skinned, I look white, but my mother's black, you know? So
Yeah.
my mother's Aboriginal.
Okay.
So, and then my father, he's white Australian. So
Yeah.
then I've had to, and still, I'm 40 years old and I still fight, you know?
Oh, good.
So,
But you look younger. I just you don't look.
yeah, I look all right. I look younger than 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like the beard too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Yeah, no.
having mustache. I had a very good mustache before, but now I just
Oh, mate, it looks good.
yeah.
I
I
like
prefer
your beard.
there.
Yeah, yeah. It's easier for me to keep a beard because I've got no hand dexterity. Like my hands and fingers don't work properly, so it's a
Yeah.
bit hard for me to shave by myself. So
Yeah.
I'll leave it to the barber. You know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
But you
but
look
it's
good. You look great.
thanks, brother. Appreciate it. And but going back to sport, so you got your first job as a sports coordinator. So once you started working and you're starting to immerse yourself in the Australian culture, what were your goals? Like you're saying, right, now I'm set up, this is what I'm doing, I'm able to look after my family. So I'm Roman Abassi and this is my goals and what I want to do for me and my community.
Um, I think it was too difficult to find a job, Jake. Before I get my first job, I faced with many challenges, and because I
Uh,
don't have any local connection in Australia, I don't
and what
have
were the
any.
challenges?
Yeah, because I don't have any experience, like local experience. I don't know that much. No one's in here in Australia, and I start by volunteering a lot, and I start by training some groups for free, like training some people like Taekwondo, martial arts for free, to build a relation, to find new people, to meet new people, and also to work on my language as well. And it takes for me a long time. After that, I realized, okay, if I want to find a job in Australia, for me it's very important to know what's Australia, what's Sydney, what's the culture, how things work in Australia, the history, like the politics, what's the policy, what's Western Sydney, the culture, the people. For that, I just decided I need to know about everything at first. After that, I will apply for jobs. I just start from Sydney. What's the Western Sydney? Which community live there? The percentage, which things work, what things about the mental health issue, about the like problem, gambling problem, or maybe social isolation and sport recreation. I research about all of them, and when I applied on my first job on the interview, I said just I came to Australia about like few months ago, and the interviewer they thought that how it's possible a person who coordinate the sport and recreation programs in Western Sydney, and it's not possible to familiar with Western Sydney just in a few months. And I tell them, no, I have a knowledge of Western Sydney. I know the suburbs. I know the people. I know what they need, which sport work in which suburb. Like, it's not possible to promote like AFL in Midlands or Auburn because the community is different there. They don't know what's like.
There'd be too
Uh,
many Parramatta supporters out there, Parramatta Eels supporters,
yeah,
huh? Yeah.
yeah, but I'm just thinking about the community. It's not like the all the suburb. Like we
Yeah.
have in Parramatta, we have uh, Indian community. For Indian community, like cricket is like very
Cricket.
interesting. Like then
Cricket's
AFL.
like God in India, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
for that one, I explained everything. They said, okay, yeah, this. I got that job, and it was completely different experience, very good experience, and the outcome was very different. I support like thousands of people, those they face with social isolation, with mental health issue, with trauma. We invite like thousands of refugees, migrants on that programs, and the feedback was very different, and everyone was so happy about the programs because the programs was free, and it was 8 and 10 week program for them. They can free easily free, like they can join the football for free, and I just organized each programs in each and all every all parts of Western Sydney, and it was very good experience. After that, I applied for the as a recreation officer at City of Sydney Council, and I worked there as well sometime. And after that I noticed I will apply for some volunteer job as well. I applied for the as a regional community networker at Multicultural New South Wales. I got the position of board member at Floorball Australia. I'm also a multicultural advisory board and Fairfield Council. And yeah, these all many other roles that I have. I'm closely working with councils, with sport bodies, and international organizations as well.
Right. So what's it? Because I've seen Regional Community Network, Multicultural New South Wales. So that's so how to come about you getting a job working for the state, because that's a
Yeah.
state occupation. So
Yeah.
was it hard to get a job? Like, because so you're a public servant too, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's not my full time job. My full time job, I'm working as a youth settlement worker in a non for profit organization. It's my full time job. But the regional community networker, it's a part time job. It's just we have some meetings with minister or with the CEO of Multicultural New South Wales. We give some advice about
Which
the
minister? Which minister do you meet
Minister
with?
of Multicultural New South Wales.
New South Wales, yeah.
Yeah, we give advice about the multiculturalism in Western Sydney, about the communities, about the needs of communities, and if any opportunities that relate to the Western Sydney, because I'm the regional community network and multiculturally, we give advice to the multicultural New South Wales.
And what other needs? So since you've been here,
Yeah.
so you've been here since 2021.
Oh, 2022, at the end of 2022, I came. Yeah.
Apologies, 2022. So not too long, but what have you seen since you've been here? And obviously, you've immersed yourself in different cultural backgrounds
Yeah.
in and around Western Sydney. So, what have you seen? What the needs are? So,
Yeah.
because over time you would have seen what's good, what's not so good. So, what do the people need for obviously coming from different backgrounds, and how do you navigate that? Because there's so many different nationalities in Sydney.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the multicultural, it doesn't matter, from the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, the Middle East, Asia, South America, you name it. Africa, everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, actually, in Western Sydney, that I'm a regional community networker, there are also 14 more people as well, and we have a focus on different parts. Like my part, I'm just focusing on a sport and recreation. And the one thing that I noticed that in Western Sydney communities, the people is not that much active. If you see like the rate of diabetes, it's too high in Western Sydney communities, and also
what's too high in Sydney communities?
diabetes.
Oh, diabetes.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, diabetes no good. In Australia in general, diabetes no good.
yeah, yeah. But you're in my role. Just I'm focusing. How can we active people to like
Yeah.
just be active, a sport, and it's a very strongest tool to support them. These people, and also the cost of sport places like the equipments. It's very expensive for them, and they can't
Oh, very
afford it.
expensive.
The large number of refugees they're living in Western Sydney. How can we provide them like a free sport and recreation activities? How can we bring the other organizations to support these communities with that? And also the kids, they're now recently, uh, especially in Fairfield, we noticed that most of the kids they're using vape and Fairfield, and it's like electronic cigarette.
Vaping.
Yeah,
Oh god, I hate those things. Yeah, no
yeah,
good.
but it's good for a person. It's not at all good, but if a person like in 20 or 25, 24 years old using the whip, it's not well because it's a decision. But in here, if you see just the kids like 12 years old, 13 years old, is using WIP, and
Crazy.
it's very dangerous for them. Like in the next 5 years, what's happening to them?
Because they're still growing, their lungs are still developing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And there's lots of issue, but my I'm just focusing on sport and recreation. How can we support the community through sport and recreation?
Yep. So what are you setting up at the moment? So you're looking at your youth settlement worker for core
Yeah,
community services.
yeah.
So you've been with those guys for nearly a year. So what are the goals and purposes for setting up programs for these individuals? Like, so you talked about diabetes, but what else is going on, and what is your predominantly your role within
My
that
role is, yeah.
not for profit?
My role is a youth settlement worker. I'm closely working with the youths between 12 to 24 years old that they're in Australia for less than 5 years. And we have a large number of refugees and migrants that they're living, especially in Fairfield, because I'm just looking for the Fairfield. And if youth between 12 to 24 years old living in Fairfield, I will work with them if they need anything, if they need like support through Medicare, through school, through like education. If they have any issue, they can reach out to me and I support them. And we also organize some group programs as well. How can we support them? Like we organize like a resume writing workshop. We support them how to use LinkedIn for finding the job. We support them like we provide them some group activities, sport activities, recreation activities, and we keep working with them closely. And if they need anything, like if they're looking for some support from lawyers, and also support from government, we provide them. We connect them with other organizations, with other stakeholders. It's my role.
Great. So we're seeing where that is now. So what would you like to see in the future for the work that you're doing in and around youth settlement work? So is that your passion, like working with a lot of young people and making sure they get what they need?
Yeah. I love working with young people, especially youth, because they are the future generation of a country. If I think we need, they need more support, especially the refugees and new migrants that they're living here. And I'm closely working with them. They have a lots of barriers, like of a language barrier. And we are closely working with them. The first and the important key point in Australia is learning English, and we can provide them, we can support them to learn as much as possible English, because without that you will not find your way. And hopefully uh, in the next 5 year or 10 years we don't have too much people that they were an interpreter, and the people they can speak themselves, they can speak English, and we don't need to, if we want to call somewhere, we call the interpreter for having English support. I think we are living here and we need to focus more in language in Australia. Without that, it's not possible to live here.
Yeah, it makes it tricky when you don't know. And
Yeah.
not just the language, like when it's got to do with, because you got a lot of Australian slang words as well, just how people talk, you know.
When I get my first job, Jake, one of my manager, he's Australian, and he said, "How you driving?" On that time, I didn't understand what he's saying. I said, I respond to him that I drive from Maryland to Guildford. After that, I drive from this place to this place, and he was just looking on me why I respond like this. After that, I asked my one of my friends, "What's that mean?" He said, "Oh, it means that how everything is going on, how life is going on, how work is going on." I just respond about my driving time, and it's another issue as well for me as a new arrivals, as a refugee, because we don't know about the slang. We have the same thing in our language as well, but it's very difficult to understand all of them. Otherwise, you grow up here and you know better. Like you have more time in the community, you know the slang. But it's difficult for us.
Yeah, I know. And it's different because you go to different states and territories in
Oh,
Australia, and it's different. And then you look at other English speaking countries like America or the United Kingdom, and it's a whole different kettle of fish as well, you know?
Yeah, I think for us it's not necessary to know about all the slangs as well.
Yeah.
It's very difficult as well. For us, just if you can communicate, you can read, you can write, you can understand. And in this stage, for now, for us, it's enough.
Nice. So have you done much travel outside of New South Wales? Have you been to other states and territories at all since you've been here?
I just went to the Melbourne two time, and it was just for 2 days. I just attended some meetings or some programs, but I'm just traveling around New South Wales. It's very there's lots of peace, lots of places that I'm still trying to find. And every time when I go, it's a new place. And for me, I think it takes a long time for me to visit each part of the Sydney or New South Wales.
Yeah, it's a big state. Well, it's a big
Yeah,
country, you know?
yeah, yeah,
A lot of people, but, you're doing good work, Roman.
yeah,
That's what's really important. And just, it's opening up people's eyes of how they can adapt and live in this country, whether it's language, education,
yeah,
when it's got to do with finding a job, or if it's got to do with housing. Like housing's not easy. Like, how do
yeah.
you go with that when people are coming over to Australia and trying to get housing for like migrants that are coming to Australia? Like, because a lot of people are struggling with housing.
Yeah, I think it's a very important issue because when I came to Australia, the big issue was finding the like a house for rent, and we applied for more than like 100 houses that no one's respond us. When we uh, went for inspection, we saw there's a line of like 20 25 people. They were in a line, and we just visit or watch the house and apply for that house. There is no reply, and we on that time I contact my other friends that they're working in other organizations. I get the support letter from them to get the house for rent, and it's a very big issue in Australia, especially for the new arrivals. You don't have any background history, you don't have any good income, you're in the Centrelink, and they will not accept you. And some landlords, they ask like your 3 years history in Australia. On that time, I told him I just came to Australia 1 month ago. How can I bring the 3 years history of my life in Australia? I spent all my life in Afghanistan. Say, oh, it's our rules. We can't accept
Mm.
you because you don't have any history, and it was a very big issue. Yeah, but finally we find the house. But I'm sure we in our clients that they're in the same situation. Sometimes I call the landlords and explain to them they're new, they're refugee, they don't have any history. Please support them. And if they said okay, we'll support it, on that time they can support. Otherwise, you need to impress them and you need to give more like details about their situation. And they on that time they will give some hours, but still it's very difficult.
Yeah, housing in general is pretty tricky for everybody across the board. It doesn't matter,
Yeah,
what walk of life you're from. And that's, in other states and territories, a lot of people are struggling, but you just got to persevere and make sure that you get a accommodation, get a roof over your head. And that's
yeah,
really, really important. So, what do you,
yeah,
so, so how's it all going at the moment, like in regards to back home? So, when you're
yeah.
looking at Afghanistan now, because you'd still have some family over there, are you
Yeah.
still in contact with people over there, or is it too dangerous for them to talk to Afghans over here and their family? Because I know a lot of people would be missing each other, and it wasn't so easy for, some people would have been left behind, or they weren't able to get on a
Yeah.
plane or go to Pakistan, another country, and like you said, some of the people in Pakistan, they're getting sent back. So is there any communication between in Afghanistan and back here? And did the United Nations get involved? What's going on?
Yeah, I think there is no issue for communication to having a communication because still there is internet and there the people using WhatsApp, Facebook, and they have a normal communication with each other. But the main issue in Afghanistan now is just the Taliban. They just banned women from the school, from the work, from outside of the home. And when we say woman, it's not just 100 women or maybe thousands of women. It's just millions of women that they're in a very bad situation. On the other side, they're censored. All the media. You're not allowed to say anything against Taliban. If you see the YouTube channels in Afghanistan, there are some YouTubers in Afghanistan. They just promote Taliban. They just promote,
Oh,
yeah, the
really?
situation is good, the security is good, because they're not allowed to say against Taliban. And now the Taliban, they're using some people like some foreigners as well. They invite some YouTubers from many countries, and they were very famous
Really?
YouTubers, yeah. And they just came to the Afghanistan. They meet some people. Meet some Taliban, and they took some picture, and they show the world that everything is normal in Afghanistan. Even some women, they went to
That's
Afghanistan.
crazy.
Yeah, and it's another issue as well that the
But is that
even
just all lies? They're just trying to show how good it is when it isn't? Or are the Taliban trying to get better? What's going on?
yeah, just they want lobbying for the Taliban. They want to support Taliban through social media that Afghanistan is a good land. There is no issue, and the Taliban paid them like dollars, thousands of dollars, and they arranged their travel as well to Afghanistan with a high security, and they can just visit all over Afghanistan. They post the video on YouTube that Afghanistan is a normal country, but when foreigners they can easily go to Afghanistan, but for me as an Afghan, I'm not allowed to go back Afghanistan for a lifetime, and this is
Mm.
the difference. And the people is they're facing a lot with mental health issue because there is no job, there is no work, there's just the Taliban. They're focusing to uh, just they're killing people easily. Those people they're against them. They're put the prison. The people they put the people in prison easily, and the situation is not normal there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not great. So what? And you said a lifetime, right? So what do you miss about home? So because obviously it was good to get away from there, but there would be some things that you would miss as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's completely normal because if I came to Australia on age of maybe 10, 11, or maybe until 15 years old, it was completely different. But I came to Australia on age of 30, 30. I think all my childhood, my school, my friends, my family, my memories, my taekwondo journey, my whole achievement was in Afghanistan, and it's very difficult. It's not possible to forget everything in one night, and for me it takes like at least 10 to 15 years to forget those things in Afghanistan. But I just miss my friends there because I have a lots of friends there and my relatives, my home, it's the important things my country, and I love that country, and I'm now half Australian, half Afghan, but still I'm just thinking about Afghanistan. I advocate for the Afghanistan people, and I'm trying to bring some change in Afghanistan. And I will not give up. I will not stop. I will try my best to stand against Taliban, against their works.
100%. Need people like yourself. So, you're standing up against a juggernaut,
Yeah.
because the Taliban's not small either and they got an iron fist on the community, on what they're doing over there. But what do you see? Like, if you're still talking to people that are back home, do they see if there's going to be any change? Like, or is it the Taliban's just taking over everything and making it worse? Is there going to be any slither, any glimpse of change in that country in the coming years? Or and and if there isn't, how are you going to make change? What's needed over in Afghanistan to change the culture. And like, it's so tricky when you've got a country that's been like this for a long, long, long time, and you've got certain people, certain religions, you've got certain people that have got certain ideas of how they just want to run the country. It's so tricky. And like, look, you seen when America and other countries were there, and there was a bit of reprieve for a while, like where the country was different. But obviously, 2021, whole different ball game now. So, what do you think's going to happen in the future?
Yeah, I think there's two things. One, that the Taliban, they're making everything bad day by day, and they put new rules against people, against women, and they're completely against humanity every day. And the other things, um, I think in the situation that we are outside of Afghanistan, we don't have that much access inside of Afghanistan. The only thing that we can put pressure on the international organizations like the human rights organizations, and those organizations, they can easily put the pressure on Taliban. If no country recognize Taliban as a government, it will make a trouble for them. And I'm sure if they want to be, because it's very difficult to fight against them, and if the worlds want to change the Taliban, there's a rights for women's rights for. I think it's the first thing before they recognize the Taliban. For that, we are putting pressure on the international organizations that they can change the, even if they can change the regime. I'm sure all the Afghanistan people will be support that. But otherwise, if they can change the regime in this at this moment, at least they can give some rights for women, like for education is very important. It's not something politics, something religion. And in the next 5 years, there will be no any doctor, like especially woman doctor, and teacher as well, engineer, and we need the women in each part of the community, and we don't have any woman, active woman in Afghanistan.
So, it's pretty much going backwards, not
Yeah,
forwards.
no, 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 it's a very bad situation there.
Do you have any other countries that try and help though, like try and help them understand if it's Pakistan or other neighboring countries and say, well, this is what you can do? Yes, we are a theocracy. Like, yes, we are a country that's run by a religion, or we believe in certain religions. It doesn't matter Shun, Sunni or Shia or different types of Islam, but do they open up their eyes to other Islamic based countries like Afghan, and you know what I mean? Like when you look
Yeah,
at Abu Dhabi, or yeah, those places are totally different, or Dubai, or or even Jordan, like any of these other countries,
yeah. I think the Taliban, their beliefs is there's a some special Islam that they just made themselves, and you will not see that type of Islam in any other countries like Islamic countries. They just believe on that type of Islam, and they will follow that, and they put pressure on people, and they ask the people to follow this Islam. It
Yeah.
is
Okay.
it's completely different. It is just the worst type of Islam that they are now trying to uh, they just trying to do that in Afghanistan, and it's very difficult, especially like some. I think it was 2 3 months ago. There was a conference, Islamic conference, and all the Muslim leaders from different countries, they were attend on that conference, and they asked from Taliban just open the doors of school for the girls. It's not against Islam. It's the Islam wants to women to be educated. Why you're closing the doors? And the Taliban response was that it's Afghanistan, it's our internal issue, and we know better Islam than you. This is their response now. Now it's very difficult to have a communication with them and talk with them because they're not understanding. They, even if you grow up in a mountain and you never meet, like you never attend a school, you never attend university, even you never read a book that outside of religious book, How can you communicate with that type of person? It's very
That
difficult.
that is very difficult,
Yeah,
you know, because they don't, like we were talking about earlier, they don't know any better. So if
yeah,
you're just indoctrinated in this way, that's all you know. So you don't have an argument for anything else but what you've been taught and all you know.
yeah. Now they burn lots of books in Afghanistan because they find those books non-Islamic books, and they're not understanding. It's not necessary to all the books will be Islamic. Why should all the books will be Islamic?
Mm,
Islamic, there's just a religious book you can read, like some few books about Islam,
mm.
but there's millions of things that you need to know, and they're just for that I'm saying if you're not good today, if you're facing with a person with just zero uh, uh, understanding of humanity, values of humanity, and they don't have any uh, they don't attend a school, university, and even they don't attend some people with like modern thoughts, they will not accept anything.
Yeah, they're just blinded. It's just like tunnel vision. Don't want to see
Yeah,
anything else, you know?
yeah,
Which
yeah.
which is sad. But what's it like with the Islamic community over here in Sydney? Because there's a lot of mosques, a lot big communities around here. You know, if you're looking at Lakemba, Bankstown, Guildford, like all across Western Sydney. So, so what's it like when you come here because you got the different types of Islam of what people believe, and you know, from people from Indonesia, Middle East, like everywhere, Africa, you name it. So, what's the general community like over here? And when you come here in 2022, did it was just open arms? It's like, come here, brother, and you're
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah. I don't have that much connection with the communities, especially the Islamic or religious communities in Sydney, because I live just in my world, and I don't have that much connection with them. But when I saw them, it's completely different from Afghanistan, especially they're open-minded and people, and the community is completely different. Unfortunately, I saw one of the picture that there was some group of people. Uh, they stand in front of the Western Sydney University. I'm not sure that you saw that picture as well. They said that you're a
No.
Muslim community leaders, and they raised the Taliban flag on the Western Sydney community on the Western Sydney University.
Ah,
And I saw
jeez.
the Taliban flag in Sydney, and I was shocked. What's happening here? I just skipped with that on that flag from Afghanistan, and now I saw the same flag in Western Sydney in the Western Sydney University. I think it
Why is
was
this?
sorry.
Why'd this happen?
Oh, I think there was some group of people they gathered for some reason, but I
Mm.
saw the Taliban flags on that there. There was not just one, two, three, four, five flags on the same flag. They said you're not supporting Taliban, but they have a Taliban flag, and still I'm in shock that what's happening here. We have a Taliban flag in Sydney, and I escaped from that flag in Afghanistan.
That would have been hard for you to witness. You've
Yeah,
seen a lot of people hurt from that banner, from that flag that are associated with it. So
yeah.
for it to pop up in your backyard, like Western Sydney, you know, that's would bring back a lot of memories that you probably don't want to think about. You know, when you're talking about the negative things that you've seen and heard and everything else to
Yeah,
do with the Taliban and their regime, like it's full on.
yeah. Just to make it clear, I think it was not the Western Sydney University. It was University of Sydney. Yeah, something like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, these things happen in here as well. We have some people that they're supporting their ideas, their ideology, and they're following them. And I think it's very dangerous for Australia as well. to having those type of people that they're supporting Taliban.
Yeah,
Uh,
not
they're
good at all.
they're not thinking about those people that they escaped from Taliban.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it like, war's just full on. Now you're looking at Palestine, Israel, Iran. So do you see many people from Palestine trying to get over here to Australia, and what do you think about what's going on in general with Israel and Iran and Palestine? It's just,
mm.
just seeing
Yeah,
all these
yeah,
women and children, and like, it's just, I know there's so much nuance and everything going on, and it's not great.
yeah. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to share my opinion on this topic, but I'm completely not agree with war because I know what's war and how it looks like once the country fall. Like I escape Afghanistan, I know everything. I'm not agree with any type of war.
Yeah, it's not good, and that Russia, Ukraine, all of it, and we're very, very lucky that we live in a country that is so far away from all this stuff, you know. So it's
Yeah,
good that we can just be here, just focus on what we want to do,
yeah,
and just try and build up our community. So with the work that you're doing with the youth settlement called community services, so you get funded a lot through the state government, or is it private philanthropy as well? Like, how how does your organisation run?
yeah.
So,
It's a Home Affairs fund. It's a SITS funding from
mm,
Home Affairs. Yeah, it's just because of the supporting the refugees and new arrivals, migrants that they are living in Australia. This funding is just for them, and yeah, we support them in Fairfield during their settlement journey.
nice. And is there anything that you're trying to do and help in regards to? Because you got over here pretty quick, got here processed, and you're doing a great job in the community. But now you're seeing people that, they're escaping all these different environments that isn't great for themselves or their families, whether it's by boat, plane, however, or they might go to Manus Island. How do you think the Australian government and the state governments treating people that are trying to get to Australia?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have that much information about that, but we are very happy, especially those people that they live here. They came here by support of government, and there's a lot of support for the refugees and new arrivals through their settlement journey in Australia. And the government they are very supportive, especially for the refugees. And we saw that myself and also in my experience. And if you live in a country and you're a new arrival, you will find a way very soon because of the support of government and non-for-profit organizations. And it's just my understanding in this stage. Maybe in the future I will change my mind because I don't know that much information. I don't have that much information about that.
Hey, you don't have that information about that, but what about information about this? So, Little Kabul, you're looking at down in Maryland. I love trying all different types of cuisines, different food. Love
Okay.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So before we wrap this podcast up, just tell me about Little Kabul. Tell me what's going on down there, and what are some of the good food items? Like, because
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Afghani food.
Okay. Okay.
So,
It's a
so,
very, very
so
delicious.
if you're gonna introduce me to something, what should I look for?
Yeah, yeah. I think if you came to the Kabul House, there is a restaurant by name of Kabul House in Maryland, and also there is another restaurant, Kabul Sydney, and many restaurants there. They have a Kabul from beginning or maybe at the end or the beginning, but you'll find the restaurants there, and it's in Maryland. During the night, all the Afghan community they are coming there. There's also some shops they are selling ice cream, juice, and it's a good place for the new arrivals, especially for Afghans if they want to meet the new people, new friends. and the little couple you will be fine in Maryland. And I will suggest you there is a very famous food in Afghanistan by name of kabli. We call them kabli. Like if
Carbs.
you, yeah, kabli. It's a kabuli, but you can use kabli as well. It's a kabuli, and it's very famous in Maryland. Maybe you can try that, or maybe I will suggest you once you come to Maryland, just call me or text me. I will be there soon.
100%. Mate, I'll
And
be on my way down there. Me and you are going to go have some fit, and
absolutely, yeah,
me
yeah,
and you and my wife, and then we'll come down. I'll meet you down in
yeah,
Maryland, so we'll hit Little Kabul for sure.
yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to introduce you some more foods there as well. If you want to come our house, my mom is a very good chef and she can cook very beautiful Afghani food as well. And I'm
That's
happy
awesome.
with both options.
Bassi, brother, I really appreciate you coming onto the podcast and having a chat today with me about all things about yourself, your journey, where it all started back in Afghanistan, the Middle East, and how you got here today, and the important work that you're doing in the community for a lot of migrants that are from all different walks of life. Like, it's really important that people acclimate to this society and just want to, thrive and survive. And you're really helping that, and especially with a lot of the youths today. So, is there anything else, mate, that you wanted to talk about, or if you want to shout out to the organisation that you're working for, or if you got any social media, anything that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, thank you very much, Jake. At first, I just want to say thanks to you for your time and making this program happen. And I really appreciate your support as well. Yeah, those people who want to follow me, it's just my name's Roman, ROMANABASY on LinkedIn. And my last speech will be just be active and don't forget the sport. It's very healthy for your body and for your mind.
100%. Well said, sir. All right. Well, next time I see you, I'm going to be coming down a Little Kabul, and me and my
Yes,
wife and your family will be having a good feed, hey? So appreciate it, brother.
thank
All
you very
right, and
much.
we'll speak soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks.
See, folks, solid yarn. You don't muck around. And just using that resilience of the environment that he grew up in, what it took to get here to Oz, and just how he's making effective change and successful in doing so with his local community and expanding upon that. Solid work. Love it, Roman. Love the yarn. Really appreciate it. So if you like the podcast, hit that subscribe or follow button. And we've also got a Patreon page. The link is within the description. So if you want to roll with the squad and become a patron, that'd be great. And if you want to get in contact with me, you can get me on Instagram at streetrollandcheetah, or email one word streetrollandcheetah@gmail.com. We've also got a Facebook page, Keep Rolling with Jake Briggs, so check it out. I'm on LinkedIn, Jake Briggs. I want to thank our sponsors, Culture Connects, a disability service provider registered in all states and territories under the NDIS, the National Disability Insurance Scheme, predominantly operating up the east coast of Australia with its main workforce of disability support workers, registered nursing, support coordination from levels 1, 2 and 3, psychological recovery coaching, clinical support, specialist disability accommodation, the bricks and mortar, supported independent living, 24-hour care, and that's whether it's high intense complex physical disabilities or intellectual cognitive psychosocial disabilities. Or if it's an ILO situation, independent living options, bit of a hybrid situation, They're here to help. And we're here to help. Yeah. I'm also a part owner and co-founder of Culture Connects. And I also want to thank our sponsors, Permobil Australia, the greatest electric wheelchairs in the land. Wouldn't be sitting in anything else but these 4 wheels right here, and they've got great assistive tech also. So righto, we'll see you on the next one.